Hey, what's up guys, Dhruval here back with another Photoshop tutorial, and in this video I'm gonna show you how to create double exposure effect. So let's get started. So as you can see here, it's not a typical double exposure effect. I was just playing with filters and I created something like this. And also to create this effect I used these three images, and if you want to use them, they are from deviantart.com and they're totally free. So let's start. So as you can see here, I have this image already open in Photoshop, and first of all we need to get rid of the background. So I'm gonna use the quick selection tool right now, as you can see here. But the other thing is, if you want like really perfect selection, I would suggest using quick pen tool, not the quick selection one, because this one like really doesn't give you sharp edges and it doesn't look professional. So for the sake of tutorial I'm going with quick selection, but it would be great if you use pen tool. So I have selected her, it was easy selection, and I'm gonna apply layer mask from here. And also this is not a beginner's tutorial and it's gonna use a lot of masking and selection tricks, so get ready for that. So as you can see here, the eyelashes are not that great and the edges are also like below average. So to make this okay, right click on your layer mask and select refine mask. Now this option is like above CS5 and CS6. Earlier versions don't have this. So once you have this, select your brush from here, and after that just paint on her eyelashes something like this, and suddenly everything is okay. See, that looks fine. Now the other selection is not that good, I get it, but just get along with me, okay? And we should also get rid of this one too. So I'm gonna right click, refine mask again, and then I'm gonna make my brush a bit bigger, and then I'm gonna paint here in her hair so we get those hair back and make it look even better. So it is okay for now and it looks fine. Now I need to make the vertical shape of the image taller, so I'm gonna use my crop tool and make it big. So it looks fine, and I'm gonna make her in a bit center and then make it slightly small. So that looks okay to me. So we are done with the first step. So as you can see here, I have this image of the branches. So unlock it, and then I'm gonna take this image into this document and throw it here. So it looks fine, but forget about it for a moment. Let's create a background first. So create a blank layer below your girl layer and then fill in it with white color. So that looks okay. Now double click on this layer and then select gradient overlay, and in the gradient select the gradient, and then there's an option for foreground to transparent gradient. So in the foreground, instead of white color, select a darker gray, so we can have that good transition. And then instead of linear, make this one radial and reverse it, so it looks fine. And if you want, you can scale it even more, and if you think the gray color is too much, you can decrease the opacity a little bit. So that looks fine to me. We have focus on her, that looks nice. So let's turn on that branch layer again and shut it off. So as you can see here, we have this layer, but we need to get rid of the background, and there's only one way to do this. So I'm gonna go to select and color range, and I'm gonna select this white color, and my fuzziness is like on top 200, so we can get rid of every white corner, and hit OK. And now press delete and press Ctrl D to remove the selection. So as you can see here, we are done with the masking of these branches. Now press Ctrl T and rotate it. So as you can see here, we have this crazy white color in the branches, as you can see here. So there is a quick way to get rid of that white patches. What to do is you double click on your layer and you go to inner glow, where are you, and then instead of this yellow color, you click on this black color, and then instead of screen, select the multiply color and decrease the opacity if you think it's too dark. So I'm gonna decrease it a bit, and then I'm gonna also decrease the size a little bit. So as you can see here, it gets rid of those all white color and makes it look better. So after that, again press Ctrl T, and now this is up to personal choice how much branch you want and where do you want it. So I'm just gonna make it something like this. Okay, not that much, I'm gonna make it actually big. So this thing will require a bit of time, so I'm gonna just finish it here for sake of time. So that looks fine, so that's okay. Now what you have to do is control click on this layer, the branches, so you have selection of the branches, then press Ctrl Shift I so we can invert the selection. Okay, we are done with that, and then shut off this layer, we don't need that, we have the selection. Now select the layer mask of the girl, grab your brush tool, right click and make it 0% hard, and after that make it big and make sure you have selected your mask, and then paint on this area, like not full on but something like this, and then press Ctrl D when you are satisfied with it. So as you can see here, we have shape of these branches in her back, so that already looks really cool. Now the second part, let's start with this image. I'm gonna put this image in her head, this empty hallway, so I'm gonna put it here. So as you can see here, this image we do not need any kind of masking, so I'm just gonna simply right click, make sure that this image is on top of your model layer, as you can see here, then right click on it and select clip in mask. So that looks already dope, but we can make it even better. So make it smaller, bigger as your taste, take your time, don't rush it. So that looks fine. Okay, that looks good. And then apply a layer mask here so that we can get rid of the some portion of the image. So control click here, so we have selection of the girl, and now select the hallway layer mask. It can be confusing, but just stay with me, it's really easy. So, and if you get confused, just watch it again, it will help, I'm pretty sure. And then I'm gonna get rid of from here too, so we can have that branch shape better and we can blend it better. So that looks good. And then I'm gonna paint it here again, and then press Ctrl D to get rid of the selection. Now this is almost done. Now turn on that branch layer again. So this looks terrible right now, but for temporary basis, click on this model layer. So we have selection of the model, but we want the outside area, so press Ctrl Shift I, so we have selection of the outside area, and then select this layer and apply a layer mask. So we have made a bit of mistake, but we can do one thing, just select your mask and then press Ctrl I. So it's okay, it's getting a lot of confusing, I know, but just stay with me, it's not that difficult. So I'm saying in the middle of tutorial, if you get stuck anywhere, if you get confused, just ask me in the comments, I will solve that problem right there, so don't get frustrated. So once you are done with that, as you know that the mask, black one removes stuff and white one brings it back. So I'm just gonna right click and make my hardness 100%, and then I'm gonna select this girl layer again, and then I'm gonna get rid of this portion, and then I'm gonna make my brush softer here, and then I'm gonna click here so that branch layer blends with the background and the girl. So that looks really nice, and then press Ctrl D. So it is almost done, and now again right click and this time make it hard. So it's not like confusing, it's just common sense. If you want soft edges, just go with the soft brush, and hard edges, go with the hard brush. So here we need the hard edges of those branches. So I'm just gonna paint with white color on this area, as you can see here, so we can have that branch shape back, and then just paint with the black color in some area so we can have that good beautiful shape. So I'm just gonna click here and get rid of this portion, and then I'm gonna paint it here back again, and then get rid of here. So we have our basic shape ready, and then just take your this layer, duplicate it, and put this on top. Now temporary that clipping mask is gone, but right click there and again create clipping mask. So we are good to go. As you can see here, everything is normal, we just put this layer on top, and we had to make it clipping mask again, so not a big problem. So put it on top of again, and then select this layer and put it on screen blend mode, and after that grab your brush, select the mask and make sure you have black color, and then start painting on this area, and also make sure the hardness is 0, and then get rid of this portion and some of here there. I'm just blending that skin on her face and body with the branches, and then make the opacity 0%, and then go up slowly so you can have idea how much you want and how much you don't. So this way you can create multiple exposures, not just double. So it's just masking and selection. You select it and you invert it, and then you make it normal back. So if you are beginner, I'm pretty sure you are screwed and out of your mind, so don't worry about that. So let's turn on this background layer again. So looks pretty good, and as you can see here, we have these branches here that we don't need. So I'm just gonna control click on this, and then I'm gonna press Control Shift I to invert that selection. You can see this inverted lines here, so that means that this portion is selected and this is not. So I'm just gonna go back to my branches again, and then I'm gonna get rid of this, and then I'm gonna press Control D. So this looks great. Now now we are doing some finishing touches. So select the black and white, create a black and white adjustment layers from here, and in the reds you can increase it to make it a bit bright, but you can just leave it as it is. So that looks okay, and then create a new blank layer and then press Control Alt Shift and E. So it will create a JPG inside Photoshop, as you can see here. Then go to your filters and select filter gallery, and in the filter gallery, let me zoom out. So as you can see, so in the filter gallery, make sure you have selected poster edges, and make your edge thickness and intensity 0 and the posterization 6%, and hit OK. So if I zoom in and then I turn it on and off, you can see that it gives it a bit of like comic book effect. That's not the proper comic book, but as you can see here. Now go to filter and select filter gallery, or you can press Ctrl F, so it will just repeat the filter. So I'm gonna do it again. So that's just way too much, so I'm gonna press Ctrl Z. So it gives that poster type feeling and a bit of different look than the average double exposure effect. So till then it's fine, but it's bit of underexposed because of dark branches and all those posterization. So create another adjustment layers and select curves, and in the curves just increase the highlights a bit. So as you can see here, that makes it look better, and then decrease this shadow point a little bit so we can have a better contrast too. So this way you can create it, and once you are done with it, you can just play with it all day long and create different type of effect. Just like create a new, maybe select anything. I'm gonna go with gradient map, and in the gradient map select this super popular gradient, and then let's put it on color dodge, and then just decrease the opacity to like maybe something like 30-40%, and then there are millions of things you can do. It's suddenly different look, not that very good, but you get the idea that you can play with it. So this way you can create really amazing multiple exposures using masking and some of the selection. And the benefit of masking is that once you save the file, and after saving, when you open it again, you can change anything you want. It's not like erasing stuff, it saves the data. So that's helpful, and as I'm saying again, since it's gonna be really confusing for if you're a beginner, if you have any questions, ask them in the comments, don't worry about it. So till then, thanks for watching, and also check out this other awesome tutorials. So goodbye, take care, and have some fun with Photoshop.